Hello, everyone. My name is Deb Clearwaters. I'm Director of Education and Interpretation at the Asian Art Museum. It gives me great pleasure to introduce today's Art Bite with the Barbara Bass Baker Director and Chief Executive Officer, Jay Shu. Jay.
Hello, everyone. Good to see you virtually, and I hope everyone is coping well with the COVID-19 crisis. You know, art has never and will not stop giving. So in this moment of crisis, I'd like to share with you some of my experience and my reflections on the gifts of art. This is a challenging moment for all of us. We were eagerly anticipating sharing the transformed museum with you in early May. But in response to the COVID-19 epidemic, we closed the museum and halted construction. It has been a time of perspective taking and the start of many new projects to bring you online experiences. My homesickness for the museum leads me to reflect on the people who made the Asian Museum special in our hearts. Museums don't exist without the generosity of their supporters and the contributions of thousands of artists and donors of the past, stretching back millennia in our case. It got us to think about the many artworks in the collection that were gifts of many times over during their histories. Two artworks in our Chinese galleries are literally inscribed with the story of their original donors. Our lovely bronze rhino needs no introduction to members of the museum. Its origin story begins with a gift. A Song Dynasty king rewarded one of his officers in the form of cowrie shells. That officer turned that bonus into this remarkable vessel. Little did either man know that the vessel would one day give so much joy to so many in a place called San Francisco. We know this from the inscription in the belly of the vessel. It tells us that an unnamed king of the Song state was drawn into a military campaign against the Renfang, who lived far away from Anyang, the last capital of the Song dynasty. On a tour of inspection to a place called Quay, the king was pleased with the good service he received from Officer Yu during their military campaign. So he awarded Yu with cowrie shells stored in Quay. Cowrie shells being an ancient form of valuables. The discovery of this rhinoceros was an important event in the history of modern Chinese archaeology. In 1843, the vessel was found in a cache of 7 bronzes buried in Shandong province, homeland of the great philosopher Confucius, and remained in the possession of Confucius' descendants for several generations. At some point, the rhinoceros left the possession of the Confucius descendants and entered into the commercial market. Through several hands of the antique dealers, it eventually ended up on Madison Avenue in New York City with a well-known Chinese dealer, J.T. Tai. In 1952, Mr. Avery Brundage, the future founder of the Asian Museum, bought the rhino from J.T. Tai. And eventually, in 1960, he gifted the rhino along with his collections of Chinese art to the city of San Francisco, where it has grown to serve as a mascot of sorts for the Asian Art Museum. Here's our plush toy inspired by the artwork. Her name is Raina. You see, Raina is roaming the museum during the shelter in place. Our security reminded her right after the picture was taken to please not stand on the art platforms. Now, the gift story with this artwork comes in the form of both text and image. In many Buddhist traditions, it is believed that making images of the Buddha is an act of merit for both artist and patron. In China, groups of lay Buddhist believers often pooled their resources to commission large stone plaques known as steles, such as the one you see here. A group of donors from Taiping County in what is now Shanxi province collaborated to produce this stele. Their names are incised on its bottom and sides, and a register of 8 particularly prominent donors appear on the front along with the generalized full-length portraits. The inscription also contains the date corresponding to 549 AD in Western calendar. As supporters of the museum, you know something about how gifts of art, then and now, create joy and empathy in our community. Despite the significant financial impact of these changes and the many unknowns ahead, we're fully committed to moving forward. This gives me hope that the museum will make it through these uncharted waters. But we cannot do it alone. Thank you for your past support of the Asian Museum. We need your support now more than ever. I hope you will consider a gift to the Sustainer Fund for the Asian Museum. Thank you.